Israeli possesses distinctive socio-historical characteristics, such as the lack of a continuous chain of native speakers from spoken Hebrew to Israeli, the non-Semitic mother tongues spoken by almost all revivalists, and the European impact on literary Hebrew throughout the second millennium. Therefore, Israeli presents the linguist with a fascinating laboratory in which to examine a wider set of theoretical problems concerning language genesis, social issues like language and politics, and practical matters, for instance, whether or not it is possible at all to reclaim a no longer spoken language. Generally speaking, whereas most forms, for example words, of Israeli are Semitic, many of its patterns, for example structure, are European. Let me give you 5 examples. First, whereas Hebrew was synthetic, Israeli, following Yiddish and other European languages, is much more analytic. For instance, in Hebrew we have Av, father, and Avi, my father. In Israeli, on the other hand, we do not have Avi for my father, but rather Abba Sheli. 2 words rather than 1 word, with Sheli meaning of me, father of me, that is my father, Abba Sheli. Second, Israeli is a habere language. In Latin, habere means to have. So when we say that a language is a habere language, we mean that possession takes the direct object, as in Latin. In Israeli, after yeshli, which literally means there is for me, comes the direct object, just as in Latin and in German. We call it the accusative case. This is in stark contrast to Hebrew, where yeshli takes the subject of the sentence, not the object. We call it the nominative case. Third, scholars have compared grammatical gender to male nipples, implying that it has neither purpose nor function. Although the analogy is flawed, since for many men the nipple is an erogenous zone, most linguists might agree with its general intent. But I beg to differ. As it happens, European languages sometimes dictate the grammatical gender of Israeli coinages. Let me explain what I mean first with English. Morphemic adaptations of English words into American Italian or British Italian often carry the linguistic gender of the parallel words in Italian itself. For example, British Italian bagga, bag, is feminine because it is induced by Italian borsa, bag, which is feminine. You can see the a at the end, which in Italian usually indicates a feminine gender. Israeli, which has numerous possible noun templates, demonstrates the very same phenomenon. Consider the Israeli feminine word mivreshet, which means brush. I propose that the choice of the feminine noun template, miktelet, was determined by the feminine gender of the words for brush in Arabic, Yiddish, Russian, Polish, German, and French. Mabrasha in Arabic. Brush is feminine. Both szczotka and kist in Russian, brush, are feminine. Szczotka in Polish is feminine. Bürste in German is feminine. Brosse in French is feminine. Fourth, in Hebrew, there was a polarity of gender agreement between nouns and numerals. For example, eser banot, 10 girls, versus asara banim, 10 feminine boys. In Israeli, there is a simpler European system. For example, eser banot, 10 girls, eser banim, 10 boys, chamesh banot, 5 girls, chamesh shekel, 5 shekels, chamesh kilo, 5 kilos. Banot, girls, is feminine, shekel is masculine, and kilo is masculine, but they are all described as chamesh, 5, which is originally masculine, but in Hebrew was used to only describe grammatically feminine nouns. By the way, the Academy of the Hebrew Language is trying to fight Chamesh Shekel, but I believe that it is trying to force a Hebrew grammar on the grammar of Israeli, which is already fully fledged and native. Fifth, word formation in Israeli abounds with European mechanisms such as portmanteau blending, as in English cronut, croissant and donut, or spork, spoon and fork, or labradoodle, Labrador and poodle.